like to welcome everybody to the September meeting of the Murfreesboro Parks and Recreation Commission. At this time, we'll call the meeting to order. As always, our first item of business will be a prayer and pledge, and Eddie Smotherman has agreed to lead us in that. Eddie, thank you.
Please bow your head. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this wonderful day. Thank you for the many blessings that you've given us on this day. Please be with those who are serving the military at this time. Please be with all of us as we go about our daily duties today. We pray that you'll be with the sick. Place your healing hand upon them. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
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 I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Eddie, thank you. Before we move any further, I wanted to take an opportunity and say goodbye to an old friend and member of our commission and welcome a new one. Miss Elsie Easter has requested to take her departure from the commission, and we want to thank Elsie for all she's done over the past several years. She was a great member of the commission, and pleasure to be around, and we will miss her. But we want to welcome Dr. Gloria Bonner. Gloria, we're thrilled to have you, and I know you'll be a wonderful addition to our commission. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much. It's easy to follow good leadership and great people. I look forward to the opportunity to serve in this capacity.
Well, we're honored you've joined us. Everybody should have received their packets earlier in the week. Contained in that packet were the minutes from our July meeting. At this time, we'll entertain any corrections or changes that need to be made, if there aren't any. Motion for acceptance of those minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. We'll move now to new business. The first item under new business is a consideration of HIP Historic and Healthy Grant, and Deborah Pascal's here to tell us all about it. Deborah, welcome.
Thank you. We have once again received an opportunity to be awarded a $10,000 grant from the Tennessee Department of Health. It is a Project Diabetes focused grant. 100% does not require any matching funds. The plan is that we will be partnering with the only downtown business association on the square, on the Rutherford County Square, and around that area, and we will be designing and laying out and developing measured walking routes around the square and the neighborhood, and we will start at various locations around the square throughout the neighborhoods. An example, we might start a route from City Hall or NHC or the Health Department, the Senior Center, and have measured routes where folks can know how far they're walking, be encouraged to walk over for dinner or lunch, and promote the square downtown area. There'll be lots of Project Diabetes promotionals and education. We hope to work with churches in the various neighborhoods, and we're really looking at working around the square, like a square mile around the courthouse. So trying to get some visibility and more publicity for that neighborhood and the folks that and give the folks that live in that neighborhood and work in that neighborhood incentives to walk and get healthier. We're going to be working with the restaurants to get more a variety of healthier menu items on their lunch menus, and we just think that it's going to be a great project. Currently, like I said, we're partnering with the Only Downtown Business Alliance, and I think we will be picking up many more partners and sponsors, and I think there's going to be a lot of excitement about it.
All right. Any questions for Deborah regarding this program and grant?
Just a comment. Yesterday at the Wellness Council, Deborah, you'll be glad to know that there was discussion of a walk Rutherford. So I think this certainly fits in well, and you're absolutely right. Parks and Rec was represented there, but I think that this will be a good tie-in to a bigger project that's being planned.
Good.
So thank you for your
Good.
efforts.
Good, thanks.
Excellent.
Is this going to involve putting up signage in different places, or is this just going to be on the road itself, or on the sidewalk?
Signage will be discussed. We'll be working with the Main Street Association on signage. There's been a lot of ideas tossed out everywhere, from being more high-tech by having your smartphones and reading QR codes, and or having mileage in merchant windows. The signage and the way of marking the routes will be a major study that we do, and we'll be very, very appropriate about that, I think.
Well, I would hope it would not be, this is just personal perspective, a lot of the signs that are around the area that directing to different things are very oversized and not very attractive in my point of view. Others may have a different perspective on that. I would like to see, us be cognizant of that, and not throwing up a bunch of signs and making things look a little, I think it takes away from the beauty of the city.
Absolutely, and we're going to be working with codes for both the city and county to determine if there should be something on the ground, or, as I said, if we promote within the merchants. It's also going to be fun the merchants are going to be encouraged to provide incentives for people that walk X amount of miles, or things that would have individuals coming into their businesses and checking in and things of that nature. But a lot of discussion, a lot of excitement about it, and yes, sir, there'll be a much concern about how we will mark, or if we will mark, any kind of trails.
Thank you.
If I could, just another comment, and maybe this helps Mr. Tips some too. As you know, we're in the middle of trying to develop a master plan for our Greenway, Blueway, and bikeways. And over the next year, we'll be rolling that plan out, and we'll be looking specifically at routes for bicycling in the downtown area. And we've talked to several representatives of bicycle clubs and some bicycle associations. So we want to make sure that when we do this, not only are we talking about walking, but we're also talking about biking. And we want to make it as family-friendly as we can and have it where people that are used to being downtown and part of the downtown square, make that friendly for them, but also make it friendly for the rest of the community. One of the things we talked about was putting up something where you could come downtown, you could hit a QR code, it would pull up from that app the route. So the route would basically be virtual, that you could follow on your smartphone, and you could walk that route. It would take you by certain restaurants, and you could pick out which route you wanted. It may be a heritage walk, it may be other things. And we think that there's an opportunity to even pull some tourism in with this application. So we're looking, like Deborah said, at several different angles, but the one angle that we're really excited about is we think it can be a part of the rollout for our Blueway, Greenway, Bikeway plan to really introduce bicycling and family-friendly bicycling to the downtown area.
Thanks, Lanny. Any other questions or comments? If there are none, we need a motion for acceptance and approval of the grant.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Deborah, as always, thank you.
Thank you.
Item 2 under new business is a consideration of pre-holiday arts and crafts show, and Ron Steed's here today to tell us all about it. Ron, welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'll be presenting on behalf of Trina Pullum, who is our Assistant Program Coordinator at Patterson Park Community Center. We're proposing a pre-holiday craft show to be held on November 3rd from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. During this time, we would like to have 40 to 45 vendors set up under 10 by 10 in a 10 by 10 space. In case of rain, we would move that event from the multi-purpose field that's outside of Patterson Park Community Center to the inside gym space. We would like to propose that we charge a vendor fee for this event of $25 to each vendor.
Okay. Thanks, Ron. Any questions for Ron regarding this program?
I move for approval.
We have a motion? Second. Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ron, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Appreciate what you do. Item 3 under new business is a consideration of an adult men's flag football league. Thomas Laird's with us today to tell us all about it. Thomas, thanks for being here.
Thank you. Good afternoon, members of the commission. Before we begin, I'd like to introduce one of our new staff members in athletics, Trevor Hutchison. Stand up. Trevor is our new program specialist within the athletic division. Trevor is a graduate of MTSU with a degree in rec administration, and this young talent like this is what we always try to bring to the table. We certainly appreciate having him. And a lot of this that I'm talking about, Trevor formulated and has done a lot of hard work on, and he's going to be very involved in this adult flag football. For several years we've had numerous requests for adult flag football, and each attempt we had to try to organize and put a league together kind of fell short in terms of participation, whether it was people were participating in other leagues. We just couldn't seem to pull enough teams together. But over the last couple of years we've had numerous college students and kids coming out to play flag football at our football complex after the games were over. And so we found that we've been able to reach out to them and get in touch with them, and let's get them organized to form an adult flag football league of our own. And we've touched base with Richard Rucker, and it falls within our guidelines and within the risk management procedures to offer this program. We formulated a fee of $500 per team. That's to offer qualified officials. Football officials make about $28.50 a game within our program, and we think to run a safe program, we're going to have those qualified officials doing the flag football as well. So we've calculated the fee for them based on scorekeepers, equipment that will be needed, and also the officials themselves. Of course, that doesn't include our time as administrators. However, we are present in most of the park anyways, and we'll be there to oversee the program. At $500, we did some research, and Trevor went out and looked from all the way from California and Oregon to Florida, and then even Nashville. And the Nashville Sports League charges $575 per team, and then they also have to pay a $15 fee to pay for officials each week. So their costs are considerably more than what we are. Ours is a one-time fee of $500, and then we'll organize flag football. So what we're asking for today is approval of the fee for adult flag football so that we can move forward with the fall season.
Any questions for Thomas regarding this new league?
Thomas, how many teams do you expect?
Hopefully we'll have 8 teams this first season, so that'll be a good start for us, and that'll work within the confines of the budget that we currently have. And then next season we always are trying to grow, so hopefully next year we can add more funds in the budget to count for more teams.
Where does you break even on that? If you only had 4 teams, would you still do it?
Well, it's based on the fee that we set was based on the number of games that would be played. So to calculate the fees, basically what we do is we say how many games will be played per team. And if they're going to play 10 games, what is our actual cost? So if we have 3 officials at $28.50, that's roughly $98 a game. We'll divide that by the number of games being played, and then divide that by half, and that gives you the individual cost for each game. And then we put that together for each team. So we break it down. If we had 2 teams, the cost, still going to be $500 per team. It's not based on the number of teams we have within the league.
Do you have minimum age?
Do we have an age? We will. They'll have to be 18 or over. Now, we do, in some of our adult leagues, like our adult softball, we have a waiver that the parents can sign for a 17-year-old to play. But with maximum or minimum, they have to be at least 16 years old to play in this league. And as it grows, just like with our basketball, we will offer, hopefully, can add different levels. That we may have a 25 and over, and then we have an 18-year-old league. So our youth football goes to the age 13, 14, or 13. And then hopefully this would pick up. Kids usually will play football in middle school and high school. Once high school is over, the large majority of them have no way of playing and continuing with football. So hopefully this will fill that void for those kids that don't go on to play college football, or those that do and they come back and really want to stay involved with the sport.
All right, good question.
So you said you would allow 16-year-olds with a parent waiver?
With a parent waiver.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? There are none. We need a motion for approval of the new program.
I so move.
Need a second?
Second.
All right. Any discussion? We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thomas, thank you for being here.
Give you a quick update. As most of you know, we had a huge soccer tournament planned for this past weekend, and we were all sweating it all weekend long. The weather really didn't play in our favor, but we got it in with very low impact to the fields. There were 188 teams in. The Chamber of Commerce reported that there were 1,000 hotel rooms Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, so roughly 3,000 hotel rooms for this tournament alone. Economic impacts close to $2.53 million. It was significant revenues for the city in terms of renting the field, so the whole tournament itself was a huge success. Thanks once again to this commission for providing us such facilities to host things like that.
Appreciate your work, Thomas. Next item is a consideration of 30 and over men's basketball league. Ann Gilmore's here to tell us all about it. Ann, welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. As Thomas said, we've been growing all around and getting all kinds of recommendations for new leagues. In the past year, since I've worked here, we have done a great job at Sportscom and with the help of Patterson Park of growing our men's basketball league as well as our women's basketball league from 15 teams to 30 teams. During that time, we have had several people recommend that we do a 30 and over or another adult basketball league. Because we don't necessarily have the gym space because we're filling Patterson and Sportscom with all our other leagues as well. What we're looking to do is start a 30 and over men's league at McFadden Community Center for Monday nights. The price that we're looking at, typically we do $4 per player. Because we don't have the capabilities to take in the $4 per player, we want to have an entry fee for the teams of $350. So each team would be required to pay the $350 up front for the season and the tournament. The season would be 10 weeks of play with a single elimination tournament. I've looked around at other places as well, comparing as far as fees goes. In Franklin, they charge $475 per team. Metro is $450 with a $10 per player out-of-town resident fee. And in Nashville Sports Leagues, a $550 per team amount. So I think it would be a great way to start and continue to grow our basketball program, as well as starting the 30 and over. We'll go on to start many other, hopefully, adult programs with basketball as well.
All right. Any questions of Ann regarding the new program? If there are no questions, we need a motion for approval of the program.
Move approval.
Thank you. Need a second?
I'll second.
Thanks. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank
Ann,
you.
thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Next item is a consideration of a new gymnastics tumbling program. Jane Oggs here to tell us all about it. Jane, welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Patterson Park's Wellness Department would like to offer gymnastics tumbling. We would like to offer 2 classes, one for ages 7 to 10. It's an after-school class at 4 o'clock. And the other one would be a homeschool class. These are both on Mondays from 11 to 12. In the homeschool class, we have ages 8 to 18, just to see where our interest is. This would be purely mat class, so they would start with forward rolls and progress to back handsprings. And it's $25 a month, and they run in 8-week sessions, and you can just continue on every week, every 8 weeks, or you could stop, or you can. We would allow new students every 8 weeks.
All right, great. Any questions for Jane regarding this new program? Or no, we need a motion for approval.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Eddie.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Program's approved.
Thank you.
Jane, thanks for being here. Next item under new business is a consideration of trail mix-its at the Wilderness Station. Rachel Singer's here to let us know about this program. Rachel, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. I'm seeking your approval for a new program as well as the new fee associated with it. Today's world has many options, and parents of young children are often torn between what activities to put them in. Many times a 3-month commitment plus registration fees in an activity that you're not sure if your child's going to enjoy or not can be daunting. This new program, which is called Trail Mix Try-Its, will be a buffet of our great parks and recreation programs that we offer. The kids will be able to experience some of these activities kind of in short bursts to see where their interests lie. It will be offered as a 6-week series for ages 4 to 7, and customers can take advantage of Murfreesboro Parks and Recreation's multifaceted programs and give their child a sample of what's offered here in our great department. So some examples of the winter series would be 2 weeks of nature awareness, 2 weeks of fitness, which would include gymnastics and active games, and 2 weeks of theater and music. And then for upcoming series, we could add stuff like baseball and soccer, hiking, gardening, painting, and many of our other great programs. So like I said, it's a 6-week series. The kids would meet for 45-minute sessions in the evening once a week, and the fee that I'm proposing is $30.
All right. Thanks, Rachel. Any questions of Rachel regarding this new program at the Wilderness Station?
I do. Rachel, will this start this fall?
We're looking for the winter.
Winter?
Yes.
Okay.
Rachel, is there, like some of these other requests have been like $25, is there a particular reason why you chose $30? Is it some other cost involved?
Just to cover our activity fees, and just to make it a little more than the standard pass, which is $3.
Any other questions? Being none, we need a motion for approval of this new program and corresponding fee.
I so move.
Second. Thank you, sir. Any discussion? We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Rachel, as always, thank you for joining us. Item number 7 is a consideration of guidelines for shelter reservations, guidelines for special use, and amusement permits. There were 2 extra items that were not in your packet that should have been before you today, and those will relate to what Angela is about to tell us all about.
I am, thank you. What we have is 3 different things that I'm bringing to propose to you, but because they all point to each other and all relate, I wanted to present them together, kind of as a package. The first is our guidelines for shelter reservations. As you know, we have been reserving shelters for quite some time, have had policies in place. This is basically a compilation of the existing rules and procedures. In a way, the effort is to make it more clear to our patrons and to those that want to reserve the shelters, just to clarify the process process and to make things easier for all of us. One of our challenges and responsibilities in this department is to make sure that our park space is preserved for its intended goals and purposes and to remain accessible for all to enjoy. So the guidelines that we have before you basically point to different things, and I'm going to spare you reading the pages and pages of policy, but just to hit some of the highlights. The policies are set forth to ensure compliance with our policies, rules, and regulations park-wide. An age requirement that has been in place before. You have to be 18 years of age or older in order to make the reservation. Clarification of the space surrounding the shelter. The fact that there is a usage fee. I'm not bringing a proposed change to the existing fees that are in place at this time. It is just to point and clarify that there is a responsibility there. Also, no changes to our alcoholic beverage policies or policies regarding amplified sound. Cleaning damage is referenced. Something that is new, in the past we have allowed inflatables, bounce houses, things like that, as long as people provide proof of liability insurance with the city listed as additional insured. And we have put a permit policy in place at no fee and no change. Again, it's just something for clarity for our users and for our staff to make sure that the insurance and the permission is in place when people bring those bounce houses to our parks. There is clarification regarding solicitation, sales, and fundraisers. That is one that I want to read if I could. No person or group shall interfere with regular park users. Persons outside of the direct participants and guests of the renter shall not be approached or solicited for any goods, services, or affiliation. Any event involving the solicitation for goods, services, or donations or affiliation from the general public requires a special use agreement. The renter may not charge admission to the event. No sales or commercial enterprise is permitted. Posting of advertisements of any product or service for sale is not permitted. That line refers to the special use agreement, which we're going to cover. The two policies are basically twins. The guidelines for shelter reservation is referring to a small event with few event features, things like a birthday party, a family reunion, just a simple shelter reservation. Our special use, when we get into that, are things like 5Ks or large festivals that take place in the parks. There is a reference to cancellation, and then item number 12 is something that is relatively new for us, the first come, first serve line. We've asked that if a shelter is reserved, other users are prohibited. If there is no reservation card posted, the shelter may be reserved and used on a first come, first serve basis for a maximum of 2 hours. A shelter reservation is required of all groups of 20 or more individuals. Then the policy goes on to point to the situations in which a shelter reservation would not be appropriate and something that would require a special use agreement with the city. Again, pointing to events that could be large, that would be larger than the capacity of the shelter, things like concerts or plays or broadcasts or anything that is going to be a larger event, basically, and goes through there. Let me pause, if I could, to see if you have any questions about the shelter reservations before I move on to the other two.
Anybody have any questions of Angela, or you want her to go ahead and cover the special use? Go ahead.
Thank you. The guidelines for special use, those of you who were here a couple of years ago might recall that we made changes a couple of years ago. Basically, this is an update from that in order to make sure that it matches and the two policies point to each other. There's very few changes in actual process to the guidelines for special use, with the exception of more specifics on the denial process. If for some reason we do deny a request, the policy goes into very specifics on how we make that decision and what we do with it. Could we offer a different time, a different place, really to clarify the situation which would involve the decision and the grounds for denial. Goes into a lot of the same existing requirements regarding insurance, regarding fundraising activities, the usage fees, and things of that nature as well. Again, similar to the guidelines for shelter reservation, this policy points to clarify what types of activities are in place, what the responsibilities are there. When we receive an event application for special use and it is being evaluated and the decision is being made there, when that event is something that we're going to approve, the organization is responsible for entering a special use agreement with the city that really clarifies each of our responsibilities in regards to all of the different aspects of the event or activity that's taking place there. And then the final thing before you is just, as I explained, a very simple amusement permit. This is in reference to things such as bounce houses, just something to help us more from a clerical basis to make sure that we have the proper paperwork and approval in place for those activities.
All right. Thanks, Angela.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions of Angela regarding either one of the guidelines or the permit process? It's well done.
Thank you.
If there are no questions, we need a motion for acceptance of these items.
I move approval collectively of all three.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bart Fight's up. Bart's going to give us a recap of the summer at SportsCom and some of the upcoming events. Bart, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission. I'm here today. I just want to give you a summer recap of this past summer that we had at SportsCom. We were very busy, had a lot of people visiting our facility, but I just want to go over in your packet. You should have received the revenues that we had from the Memorial Weekend through Labor Day weekend. As you can see, our outdoor pool did very well. In June and August, we had great months. In July, as you recall, we had quite a bit of rain, so that did cost us some going through the month of July. But June and August, and I know if you passed by there on a hot day, you could see them lined up, on the slides and outside, and they were everywhere. In our concessions, you can see that we increased around $7,000 from last year. And that's due to Tommy Gregory and our staff that worked out there. They, like I said, when it was busy, they were hopping out there, getting their stuff ready to sell, getting it prepared. A couple of things there. We did have a healthy menu this year, which added a lot to it. We did have a grant where we got some new equipment, some 2 big freezers and a refrigerator, which helped out a lot. So hopefully, in the coming years, we'll improve on our healthy menus. But that's something we offered, and a lot of people took advantage of that. Also, out at the Boro Beach, our pool, we started something new this year. Our cabana rentals, as you'll see, is almost $1,600. What we did there, we rented our cabanas, which we have 2 behind the big slides that we rented on 3-hour intervals. It was new to us. It was, of course, new to the people, but it was very successful and very popular, where you could, come in and rent the facility on 3 hours, bring your group in up to 30 people, and you would have that cabana to yourself, and you can bring in food and have it inside the cabana for your party or cake or, whatever you wanted to do. So that proved very successful. We also, for our second year, have had Mom and Tots time, which I know when school starts back, the high schools and the colleges, we lose a lot of our lifeguards, and we had a lot of requests for, why the pool closing so early. But we kept it open Monday through Friday from 10 to 1, where moms could come in with their children 5 and under. We just had the special little kids features open, but that proved very popular, where you don't have the big crowds, where the little kids will have that splash pad and the little kids features to themselves, which that was very popular. Nikki Hensley arranged all that and did a great job with that. Also, on our private parties, you can see it was almost $8,000. We went to an extra night this year, which we had a lot of requests for Friday nights, so we tried it this year, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights, and that we booked them all the way through the summer. So I dare say we could probably book them every night if we wanted to, but we did book them Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and they were booked all through the summer. Is there any questions about the Boro Beach recap?
Anybody have any questions for Bart on that? keep going.
Okay. All right, we'll go on to our summer activities. And Nate Williams, my technical assistant back here, helped me again with to get this together. So on our summer camps, we have those all summer long. So we had we hosted over 8 weeks of sports camps. I know Thomas came out with all his kids and his youngsters that were there. We had roughly 35 to 40 campers each week with that. We also had what we called a RAD camp, where we partnered with the Murfreesboro Police Department. We had 2 weeks of that. We also had 2 junior lifeguard camps, and like I mentioned, we had 6 weeks of the sports camps. And this went along with all of our swimming lessons that were booked, all through the summer. Also, we had summer leagues that played all summer. We had we had water polo. We had co-ed volleyball. We had adult basketball. We also started a new youth volleyball league under the direction of Elaine Mitchell, who did a great job there. Played Saturday mornings. We had 8 teams there, and we also had 2 swim teams that we worked out where they could come in and practice. One league came at 6 in the morning, one in the afternoon, but the Sportscom Comets and a team Excel came in and practiced, which helped those youngsters improve their swimming skills. Now I'll go on to some of our special events that we have had this past summer. Of course, on July 4th, we hosted an annual celebration under the stars. We had over 5,000 people attend. We had games, activities. Also, we had a great symphony orchestra that played, and also we had the fireworks show that, if any of you saw, it was really good this year. It was really good. Everybody really enjoyed that. On August the 5th, we hosted State Farm, as they had their annual picnic, as over 1,000 people came and ate lunch and had games, and also enjoyed a great afternoon at Boro Beach. On Saturday, August the 18th, Sportscom hosts an annual event called the TVA Super Challenge, and that's where over 2,000 employees and their families that work for TVA came out and enjoyed a day of horseshoes, softball, volleyball, basketball, and also enjoyed a day at Boro Beach. And these visitors, they come from 7 states in the South to come to Sportscom to enjoy their day of activities. And I know about 3 or 4 years ago they left and went to another town in the mid-state, but as soon as that was over, they called back and said, we want to come back. So I think we'll have them for a while. They're a great group to work with, and they had a great time. On August the 25th, we hosted the Triborough Kids Triathlon, where we had over 250 youngsters participate in a swim, bike, and run event held at Sportscom. And I know Charlie Pigeon and I know Nate Williams were out there at 2 or 3 in the morning setting up the race for them, and that was a huge event, and that's really something to see if you haven't seen it. The little kids running, biking, and swimming. It's a great event, and I'd like to put a plug in for Steve Toombs in our maintenance department. Anything we do, we couldn't do it without their help, and they've been a great help throughout the years on everything. Some of the upcoming events we're going to have a puppy plunge on September 29th. So if you have a dog, no cats, just a dog, can come out 10 to 12, and we'll let the dogs jump in the pool and enjoy their day at Boro Beach for a few minutes. We also will be hosting a National Night Out, which has been moved to October the 2nd this year. And we will be having that from 5 to 7 out at the Sportscom Pavilion. And there will be other sites that will also be holding this event, which include Oaklands Park, Patterson Park, Spring Valley, Franklin Heights, and Rogers Park. And also, just a reminder that Sportscom will be having their 10th annual Polar Bear Plunge on Saturday, January the 7th, 2013, from 8:30 to 12. And I know Thomas will be having his Arctic Adventure from 8:30 to 10, and at 10 o'clock, all of y'all are invited to walk out and jump in the pool. Last year it was 37 degrees, so mark your calendars for Saturday, January the 7th, 2013, as we collect food for the Murfreesboro City Schools Resource Center. Last year we collected over 1,100 pounds of food to donate to a very worthy cause. So that's a great event coming up. One thing, we just got designated as Sportscom, Allison Davis and her wellness group we partnered with the Arthritis Foundation to become one of their flagship facilities, offering all 4 of the Arthritis Foundation's Life Improvement Series exercise classes. These 6 4-week-long classes are designated for people with arthritis, and the classes are Tai Chi, exercise, aquatic exercise, and walk with ease. The Arthritis Foundation provided training for all these classes, and they've been very popular, and we hope to continue these programs, into the fall. As you can see, we had a very busy summer. We're looking forward to the fall and all our upcoming events and activities, and also our renovation.
That's great, Bart. A lot of info.
Mr. Chairman, aren't new members of the commission supposed to participate in the plunge?
I can't recall. What did you do?
I think it ought to be a motion required.
We'll need to see the pictures of you going in.
I've done it. I got the T-shirt.
37 degrees.
Yep.
That's cold.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bart. That's great.
Bart, before you get away there, I want to compliment you on the fine job you guys did out there on the 4th of July. I know it broke the drought. We got the rain and stuff that we needed so badly that day. But the fire department was out there, and compliments go out to the fire department for covering. However, I don't think we needed them because we had so much rain. But the way you guys adjusted, it was impressive for the conditions, and we still had a wonderful fireworks display. And like you say, 4,000 or 5,000 people enjoyed them, and y'all did a great job. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bart. And last, but certainly not least, Becky Johnson is with us to give us an update on upcoming events.
Good afternoon.
Becky, welcome.
Just bear with me quick. We have another PowerPoint presentation. Okay. The first program I'm going to talk about that's coming up is our Pioneer Kids. That's where we'll have lessons in local history, storytelling, old-time music, clogging, crafts, and games. That's for ages 9 through 15, and that'll be at Cannonsburg Village every Thursday from 3:30 to 5 o'clock. So that's a new program for those ages 9 to 15 to check out. We will have our Greenway Art Festival. That is for where talented artists will display and sell their work along the Greenway at Old Fort Park. That's September 15th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. There'll be artwork, music, food vendors, kids' arts and crafts. So it's really a good free day for families to come on out. Well, free unless you want to buy some art. So that's a good time. We've had the Greenway Art Festival for several years now, and it's always very successful. Then we have the Puppy Plunge. Bring your puppy, as Bart said, not your cats, your puppies to dip in the outdoor pool at Sportscom before they get it ready for the winter. It's for puppies through seniors, Saturday, September 29th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the Sportscom outdoor pool. Then, as Bart also mentioned, National Night Out. We just want to make sure that everybody's aware that this is a new date for us. So it's Tuesday, October 2nd from 5 to 8 p.m., and the sites we have are Rogers Park, Sportscom, Oaklands Park, Patterson Park, Spring Valley, or they can go to Franklin Heights for a great night of family fun. Also, we have the Greenway 100. This program was started last spring and was very successful, so we're starting another round. It's Join the Greenway 100 Club, where you can walk, run, or bike 100 miles on the Greenway. You receive some incentives for doing so. You have 1 year from the time you register to complete 100 miles. But let me tell you, last spring when they started it, I was amazed at how fast people completed 100 miles on the Greenway and were sending in their cards. And you can register now until September 15th for this new round. And for all of our other programs, any more information, questions you may have, our phone number is on the screen at 615-890-5333, or you can go to murfreesborotn.gov/parks. You can download our Rec Connection, which has all of our fall programs. We are also on Facebook, and exciting for Parks and Rec, we will have a Parks and Recreation Facebook page, an Athletics Facebook page, and a Greenway Facebook page. So for those of you who follow Facebook, find us and like us and keep up with everything that's going on. Thank you.
All right. Any questions for Becky? Thanks for the update, Becky. Appreciate you being there.
Thank you.
That concludes our new business. Is there any other business to come before the commission?
Just one comment. I want to thank Parks and Rec for their partnership with the Back to School Bash at Cannonsburg. It was a great event, so thank you very much.
Any others? Being none, we stand adjourned. Thank you all.